Alright, hello Game Development Club. I'm going to go over on polishing the 2D jumping platformer we made last week and showing some issues that you guys might have had and making the game just look nicer overall. So here I'm going to hit the play button and show where we left off. And here you can see, right after it. Okay, here you can see, I made a mistake, my bad. So I'm going to play this time. Okay, you can see we can jump and hit that. But one issue you might have is that the coin might stop your entire velocity. And that's because the coin is still treated as a collider, just like the ground and everything else you hit. So that's not really ideal. We don't want the coin to actually stop us in our paths. So what we'll do is we hit the is trigger, and I'll show you what this does. The coin will still be able to detect when the player enters its vicinity, but it no longer actually um, like causes any changes to the velocity or whatnot. So what we can do in the script now is instead of on collision enter, we can go on trigger enter. Wow. Yeah. So this is what we do. Copy and paste the previous code, and yeah, and mind that it's collider 2D, not collision 2D. So be mindful of that. And if you need more description on triggers, I'll put a link in the description below. Let's continue on. So that's one issue we fixed. Let me just play it to be safe. Um, Another one is I'm gonna show you very soon. Yep, see, problem fixed. So I'm gonna create a wall, and the issue is that when we had a wall, we could actually just jump on it repeatedly, and that would just give us infinite jumps. So that's never good. Let me just give you a little show. Alright, and I'll call it the ground. Usually the tags are supposed to be capital first letter, so I made a mistake there. But alright, so you can see how you could just do that. In addition to that, it can jitter, so that's never really good. Let's get the easy problem fixed. The jittering, like it's clipping through. Let me switch to the scene view over here. Yes, you can drag and do this. So if I play a game, you can see it's clipping through. So let's fix that one first. It's very easy. So originally we used translate, but since we have a velocity here, we can do this. We can use rb.velocity equals to new vector free, and then that's the new thing. So we can also set the y to be velocity.y because we don't want to change the y. And actually, it's a vector too. My bad, because we're dealing with 2D. Yeah. So then this would be the fix. And yeah, so if we go hit the play now, we should have no clipping issues. So if I hit play and save the script, you can see in the very bottom right, you can actually see that I am not moving the player at all because I failed. uh, okay. Input that got axle. Velocity. Very interesting how it doesn't work. Okay. Come on. This better. It does not. Okay, let's just ignore that for now. This is like the 4th video I shot, so I'm gonna fix this back later. I don't want to do another shot. Let's talk about the issue where the player can jump repeatedly on the same wall. So that issue is the fact that I'm gonna put MS Paint. Here's our player. So our collider looks like this. It's a circle around it, and if we have a wall, and if it hits, it will count that as a jump. So I'm gonna bring the wall closer actually. There we go. So if it hits, it will count as a jump. What we really want is if it hits below, like right here-ish, then it should count as a jump. So then this wall doesn't affect it. So what we can do is we can create a line using something in Unity called a line cast. There we go. And this is the documentation on it. So I'm gonna edit the line cast right now. So right now we have detect if it hits something called the ground. I'm going to remove that in the collision enter 2D. So the next thing we'll do is I definitely made this. So we're going to do something called a boolean, which it can only return true or false. So this would be only true and false whenever we create a line between two different positions. One of them could be us, and I created a game object. So I'm going to create an object called what should I call it? I guess jump point. I'll make one of them. I'll make two. So we want it to be between these. We want one point to be here and another point to be right there. So I'll just do this instead. And let's jump point 2. Okay, there we go. So if result's true, then we could say it's grounded. Okay, so if we give that one a try. And don't forget, I just realized we cannot give that one a try yet because we created two variables and we need to set two positions. So I created a game, I created inside Unity. Let me just delete this so I can show you from the beginning. Okay, I created empty, which is just a position. I went down here. So yeah, that's a fine position to be in. Only a bit lower. And then copy and paste that. And then just do a bit like on the other side. I didn't do it perfectly. You guys can do that. But I'm just here to show you how it works. Put that in. And then this better work. Like, if it doesn't, then I'll feel quite ashamed. And there we go. It works just great. So if I hit the wall this time. Okay. Well, the reason for that occurring is because we are clipping. And if that still happens, what you can do is lower this. But it is because I'm clipping through, the line does hit, so I gotta fix the clipping in the next second. So you can see how most of the time it doesn't happen because sometimes the clipping just stops. But yeah, I gotta fix that right now. So the clipping occurs because we're not using velocity, so we can say rb.velocity is equal to, okay, I might cheat a little bit here. Set velocity to the left or right, depending on the input. Okay. Isn't that what okay, whatever. Cool. So yeah, just copy and paste what I just wrote here. You actually don't need to make it this long. You could just put that there instead. Yeah, I planned this well. So if I hit the play button now, this should very likely move. Still does not move. Oh my goodness, I realized what I did wrong the whole time. Last time the script was fine, it's just my speed was too low. Yep, that was the entire issue, my goodness. Last time was working just fine. I just had the speed too low. Okay, and now you may be noticing, okay, right now, when I hit the wall, it doesn't clip, which is fine. But you may be questioning your sanity as you see this lag very horribly. So let me explain what's happening. It's doing physics calculations as it's going through update. So we fixed one issue, but we have another. So now we have to go through fixed delta time. And that we have to set into something called void fixed update. And we do not want this. Okay, there we go. And now we can set that into there. Fixed update is the update takes longer because now it's accommodating for physics calculations. So that's always useful for when you need it. So now when I play it, uh, I just realized I still set the speed really low. So let me make it 400. Speed's gotta be really high. Now when I play it, okay, there's no more issues of it lagging or anything, and there's no more clipping issues. And I don't know why it slow jumps once. I think it's just being crazy. Very interesting to see. Oh, wait, I realized. Oh my goodness. Okay. Because when you jump it, it's still touching the ground, technically. Uh... okay, okay. And then, what I can do is... I can set it to false only when because it's still touching the ground. So if it's still touching the ground, I jump. And even though it's jumping, set to true. Okay. I have one solution, but it's not a good one. Oh wait, hold on. What am I thinking? Is grounded is this. I don't need to make a whole thing like that. There we go. That should fix everything. I don't know why I made it more complicated than it needs to be. Yeah, my bad. So this would be simplified a lot. Okay. Thank you for being very patient and waiting. That took a while. This one's a little slower than usual because it's a little harder. Okay, unless it doesn't work. That's useless. Now I run it. Maybe the jump is too low. I could be crazy, but maybe the jump is too low. You guys can skip ahead to a time when my sanity is not lost. Just debugging. You guys are gonna have to do a lot of this. I'm not gonna edit this. It's definitely gonna be too late. So, and I also have another video to shoot. Let's see. Interesting how it's not even detecting. So it's not printing at all. Yeah, not even when I hit the button. Wait, it's because I have another variable up there, so it conflicts. Okay. Yeah, that's programming for you. Okay, if you guys skipped ahead to this time, well done. I think you got it to when this problem's been fixed. Never mind, it has not been fixed. I am actually gonna lose my sanity right now. very, very interesting on why it doesn't work. Was that one of the issues? I think this thing needs to be bigger. The height of the thing needs to be bigger. That was it. That was the entire issue. The ground was not big enough. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. Make sure the ground is big enough. I guess I had to discover that in such a hard way. Oh my gosh. Well, so here's one thing we learned today. If you skip this ahead, well done. Um, sorry this is taking a while, my guys. So you can see how it no longer clips and everything, but it gets stuck to the wall. So what we do is within the project, we're going to create something called a physics material, and I'm going to call it like, I don't know, player. And then what I'm going to do is set friction to 0. So let's find that bloody player again. Here it is. Go to the material, drag that into that area, and now it's not gonna have any troubles on the wall. Now it's just gonna slide. And I forgot the floor is still too small because don't make any changes in play mode. You have to make it in this mode so it's permanent. Okay, now it's really big. Yeah, so that's the issue for line. There we go. And now there's no more issues with the wall. No collision. It feels like a natural, actual platform, and that thing kills you as intended. So yeah, that's some pretty nice changes we made. And let me show you some other changes we can do. So there's something called Fiscal that you can use to create sprites. There's also other tools, I'm pretty sure. But what we're going to do is create some animations and show how we can do it. So I'm going to make this guy like this. I know he looks really ugly. Let's all of a sudden say his other leg goes like that. I don't know. And he suddenly looks like this. And next picture, you want him to have a hat. There we go. That's your animation for whatever reason. And with Fiscal, you can like preview it. Yeah, that's a nice animation. So what we're gonna do is export that and as a PNG. So we're gonna hit download, and when you open it, by the way, I'm just gonna show you what it looks like. That's what it's gonna look like. You may be wondering, okay, how do we actually turn that into something for animations? So first, we're gonna drag that in. You could also drag it in using the file explorer. I'm not gonna show you my files, but the thing we're gonna do with this is we're going to split into the individual sprites. So first thing is because we're using PixArt, we're going to filter it to none because we don't want there to be any blurring because pixel art is already at the best resolution it could be. So we're going to hit sprite mode to multiple and apply the changes right there. Then we go to sprite editor, we hit the slice top left, then we go to cell count, and we go to 2 by 2, and we slice. And there we go. We hit apply to that. And if you look here, we now have many different sprites from that one sheet. And if we drag that all into the player, it would actually ask us to create an animation. So we can create this like walk. And then it will go into here. We have our walk animation, and you may see a controller. So I'm going to double click this, and this shows us how we can manage animations. But for now, this may be confusing. So let's just see what we just done right now. So you can see that that's our player, and it is currently the animations playing repeatedly. So that's pretty good. And you may be on your end, the sprite might not be as like big as you hope, or it might be too big and whatnot. So in case it's not perfect like my situation, what you can do is you can adjust the pixels per unit, and that would change the size by making it smaller, and making it higher would like make it smaller, stuff like that simple. Let's see. Right. So let's say you have another animation you made. Okay, let's say it looks like this. Let's make it a little unique. Okay, there we go. That's the other animation. It's just a blob. So we're gonna put that in. Of course, you could also make it on the same sheet. I'm just being lazy here. You could put all the animations on the single sheet. And I'm gonna slice that, blah blah blah, 2 by 2. So apply. So you can do this. You can drag that in, and you would have a second animation. So this would be like die, I guess. So if you look into the animator, or you can double click the controller, you can see here it has walk and here it has die. And by default, it will always go to walk. And if you want die to be the default, you would say set layer default state. But we would also want to get to walk somehow. Uh, by default. So what we do is we're gonna have to create a parameter that we can change in code. So we can do bool is walking, and this is important. Like sorry, the way you type it is important, case sensitive and whatnot. So we can go make transitions, and let me just show you what make transition does by default. So if I hit that, make transition, then you can see it will transition between the two. And if you're happy with this, that's good. But for many, I think this looks kind of horrid. So we want the transition only to happen. We want the transition to happen from any state to walk if, and the condition, if is walking is true, and in dying, you only want this to happen if is walking is false. So now you may be wondering how we can change that in script. So here we're gonna do is we're gonna change a private, what's it called, animator, and I'm gonna call anim. Okay, so then what we're gonna do is if input dot get axis horizontal. Okay, that's not it. So if it's not equal to 0, which means we have been touching the keys, we want the anim dot set bool is running. Was that what we call it? No, it's is walking. So make sure it's the right one. True, and else we want to be false. So I'm gonna speed ahead and do that. Yeah, I'm gonna show you the script one more time. Zoom in maybe. Okay, let me zoom in. There we go. That's not it. That's it. There we go. So I saved that. Now if I run it, you can see that there is indeed going to be something wrong happening. And it's simply because I am a failure. Let's see what I did wrong. I do have an animator. I do have a parameter called is walking. Interesting how it's not getting it. Oh, I see. Because I didn't set. Okay. What we did before was we got that by getting the component. We didn't get the component. So we gotta put that down. And that would fix everything. Goodness. Yeah. Even I make mistakes a lot of the time. So now I hit the play button. And when I'm walking, it shows me my walking animation. When I'm not, it gives me that. And there's a bit of a delay actually, because when I hit the key, let go, it's still, it takes a bit. Let go. It actually takes a bit. So there's actually a bit of things going on. Number one is that actually you can see how when I let go, I slide a bit. And that's not really ideal. That's because when you hit the key, instead of going from 0 to 1 immediately, it would actually like go smoothly. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say axis raw. So this would mean it would be instantaneously getting the values from either 1, 0, or -1. And you may not need to know exactly what that means, but just know that this would make the transition instant. And there we go. Much faster. And if you're still thinking that's too slow, you're actually kind of right, because in the transition, you can make it have exit time of absolutely no time at all. So you can adjust the exit time and transition time. So now I set it to 0. You can see it is actually instantaneous now. So that's how we can do animations. You can also adjust the speed of the animations. And actually, wait, I just realized you can make it have no exit time. That actually makes it faster, I think. And you can also make it interrupt by other things. If it's interruptible, it's actually even faster. So anyways, you can see how you can change a lot of things to make it better. And there's only 2 last things I want to teach you. This is all extras at this point. You don't need to know all this. If you want to do the particles, then you should look at this. So I hit right click, create particles, and let's say you want particles to follow the player all the time. I'm going to reset this because that looks horrid. Then what we can do is, first off, I'm going to make this 2D because I think it'll look nicer. So I'm going to set that to 2D by renderer material. So go down there, and then start color, I'm going to make it random color between here. Yeah, you can choose like a random color gradient. Okay, that's good. I can also change the emission shape, so I can make it a sphere. That looks horrible. How about a circle? Yeah, that's okay. Why the heck not? And then the speed is too fast. So let me just turn that down. Actually, let me just turn that to barely anything at all. And then the size is also really high. So let me see the size. I can make it random between 2 different numbers. So let's do that. All right. And one thing you can notice is if I move the player, this moves along with it. That's not really ideal, see? Because it doesn't look good. So if I change the simulation space to the world, and I move it, you can see it stays there. That looks a lot nicer. So I'm going to change the ray over time to be really high. Of course, this will kill computers, but of course it looks really good too. So let's play this and see how it looks. And now we have a lot of nice particles. And the Obama thing is in the way, so we're going to ask Obama to get out of here. Order and layer, -1, because this guy's in the background. Order and layer is important. The particle has order and layer too. I'll show you that in just a sec. And there we go, you have particles. And interesting animations. I did make too many changes on this, so now it looks wrong. Yep. And you also may be thinking, right now, the game looks good, but there's no parallax, right? This background's so far away, but it just transitions at the same speed as the rest of everything. So if you change the projection from orthographic to perspective, so this right now, the camera, is perspective, orthographic. Okay, let me just pull up an image. Orthographic versus perspective. Let's just see the difference. So right here you could see inside orthographic, it's all the same distance. But in perspective, you can actually see depth. And that makes sense. So now you go to perspective, and then if you have a lot of stuff in the background, you can see that it can actually travel slower. And I think that would look really cool for a lot of the games you can create. And if you ever think the background's too small, just change the field of view. And there we go. It looks just like the other thing. And don't be afraid to like start adding what's it called? 3D objects too into the world. So you can add 3D. Like even though it's a 2D game, it doesn't mean it can't have 3D. And you can import libraries and such. I don't know, and Just like have fun with the idea. I think cubes look cool for whatever reason. And then change the color to be something not as mundane, maybe just gray. Wait, how's that less mundane? What am I saying? Okay, I guess green if you're really crazy. That hurts my eyes a lot, but I'm just trying to prove a point. So now if you hit it, you can see, wow, there's a lot of depth to this 2D game. So yeah, this is a lot of changes. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Well, why did I call it episode? It was definitely a slow tutorial, but I'll see you next week. Have fun developing. Can't wait.